Hello and welcome. I'm Dr. Brown, and again, I'm excited and thrilled to be presenting day three of the Reset, Restore, and Renew program. The topic for today is stay hydrated. So, welcome to my live training where we'll be covering the science behind staying hydrated, dehydration and losing water, how much water should we drink, how hydration impacts stress, how metabolism is impacted by stress, is water the only option, takeaways, bonus, and more. So let's get going here. Not drinking enough water can lead to dehydration. No kidding. Dehydration occurs when you don't have enough water in your body to carry out normal functions. Even mild dehydration can drain your energy and make you tired. We are constantly losing water through breathing, perspiration, urine, and bowel movements. And as this happens, it's not just water that you lose. Small amounts of electrolytes critical to cell function and energy, such as sodium and potassium, are lost along with the water. So even mild dehydration can exhaust you and affect many of your body's daily functions. Therefore, water must be replenished by consuming beverages and foods throughout the day that contain water and electrolytes. The digestion and assimilation of food always generates waste. So the waste that is produced needs to be excreted or it would damage the body. What do you think is the solvent for this? It's water. Water is the solvent for these waste products. It dissolves them and allows them to pass out of the body as urine and sweat. Urine is produced in the kidneys and consists of waste products dissolved in water. We drink water to replenish the fluid that leaves the body this way. When you're dehydrated, your urine will be dark yellow. This is because there isn't enough water in your system to dilute the waste products sufficiently. You could quickly become constipated as your colon steals water from your stool to keep your digestive system moving. Urine will become darker. Prolonged dehydration can also crystallize salts and minerals in urine, possibly leading to the formation of painful kidney stones. We lose water in four principal ways: in urine, in sweat, in breath, and in bowel movements. We replenish our water by drinking fluids and when we digest water containing foods. The master control of body fluid is the kidneys. This is regulated by an area of the brain called the hypothalamus, which contains receptors sensitive to the blood's concentration of sodium and other substances. The kidneys are the main way for us to excrete salts. If you eat a lot of salt, your kidneys will increase the concentration of the urine up to their maximum ability. Past this, the volume will increase. If you drink a lot of water, urine concentration falls and volume increases. The more you exercise and sweat, the more salts you lose because sweat can't be concentrated. The amount you need to drink is unique to you. The topic of water and hydration may seem dry, haha, but regardless of this, water is known as the elixir of life for good reason. Every system in your body needs it to survive. Water is your body's principal chemical component and makes up about 50 to 70% of your body weight. Your body depends on water to survive, and although you can survive without food for weeks, dehydration can kill you within days or even hours, depending on the temperature and your environment and activities. Every cell, tissue, and organ in your body needs water to work properly. For example, water gets rid of waste through urination, perspiration, and bowel movements. It keeps your temperature normal, body temperature. It lubricates and cushions joints. It protects sensitive tissues, and it moistens tissues in the eyes, nose, and mouth, and other mucous membranes. It also carries nutrients and oxygen to cells and dissolves minerals and nutrients to make them accessible to the body. So, linked to the hydration sensors are the thirst parts of your brain. If you feel thirsty, then drink water. The human body is made up mainly of water, and our physiology operates to keep within about a liter of the 45 or so liters in an average sized person. The way it does this is by regulating the feeling of thirst. When the fluid level starts to get low, your body makes you feel thirsty. You drink, and the body's regulatory system works out how much you should drink to restore the balance to within required limits. When you've drunk enough, you feel sated and stop drinking. This system is remarkably efficient. Remarkably efficient. It takes several hours for the fluid levels in your body to respond to the liquid you have, however, but the regulatory system works well enough most of the time to keep the body's fluid content within its typical parameters. But no, you don't want to wait till you're too thirsty to drink. If you lose a lot of water quickly on a very hot day, for example, you may lose too much and then you become dehydrated and it feels unpleasant. The unpleasant feeling is your body's way of saying, "Quick, I need fluid." So how does hydration or dehydration impact stress? Well, the relationship between hydration and stress is well documented. Basically, when you're dehydrated, your body is stressed. And when you're stressed, your brain releases stress hormones, setting off a chain reaction of the stress response in your body. So, research published in the Journal of Neuroscience concluded that how hydrated you are determines how well your body and your mind, and therefore emotions and behavior, handle stress. Research published in the World Journal of Psychiatry found that drinking plain water leads to decreased cases of depression and anxiety, both stress related conditions. Every single cell in your body requires water to function properly. Every one of them. The brain is 75 to 85% water, and even a 2% dehydration can result in fatigue, impaired memory, and difficulties with attention and mood. This relates to stress because a decrease of 1/2 of a liter of water will increase cortisol levels, a key stress hormone, and long term cortisol production can lead to adrenal fatigue. In a cycle of stress and dehydration, there is often increased depression and anxiety, leading to more stress to the body. Another large piece of the hydration stress puzzle is that the body requires water for absorbing nutrients, optimal metabolism, and proper oxygenation. All of these functions are critical for keeping your body and mind working well. And now, how does hydration impact metabolism? Optimal metabolic health is defined as having ideal levels of blood sugar, triglycerides, HDL cholesterol, that's the good stuff, blood pressure, and waist circumference without using medications. These metabolic health factors directly relate to a person's risk for insulin resistance, heart disease, diabetes, and stroke. Studies have indicated that metabolic health indicators like blood sugar, blood pressure, weight, and others are all tied to the intake of water and hydration levels. A metabolic syndrome is a group of conditions that occur simultaneously, elevating your risk of heart disease, stroke, and type 2 diabetes. These conditions include increased blood pressure, high blood sugar, excess body fat around the waist, and abnormal cholesterol or triglyceride levels. Studies point to a direct link between low water intake, high vasopressin concentration, and metabolic dysfunction or the development of metabolic syndrome. Vasopressin is a key hormone in regulating body fluid homeostasis, and individuals who habitually drink fewer fluids are known to have higher vasopressin levels. Studies, including one in the Journal of Clinical Investigation, have shown links between hydration and vasopressin. Vasopressin is elevated in people with obesity, diabetes, and metabolic syndrome, among others, and leads to water being stored as fat, causing dehydration. Increasing water intake was found to lower vasopressin levels significantly, and in the long term, dehydration could be a key contributor to the development of metabolic syndrome. Thus, drinking plenty of water is essential for one's metabolic health, promoting optimal functioning of the body and balancing blood sugar and hormones. There is a direct relationship between dehydration and glucose levels. When you don't drink enough water, the glucose in your bloodstream becomes more concentrated, leading to higher blood sugar levels. Both mild and severe dehydration can have a notable impact on your glucose levels. This is tied to both metabolic health and conditions like diabetes. One of the key markers of good metabolic health is balanced glucose levels, and there is direct correlation between these things. Hydration leads to a better metabolism, which in turn balances the hormones and processes involved in glucose regulation. The idea that humans should drink a minimum amount of water for optimal health, it goes back centuries. In 1945, the US Food and Nutrition Board issued guidelines indicating that people should drink 2.5 liters of fluid per day. However, there was an added bit of information associated with the recommendation that seems to have been lost over the years, as if people stopped reading before they got to the end. Quote, most of this quantity is contained in prepared foods, end quote. That's what they said in that report. You never hear that. This resulted in people recommending consuming a minimum of 6 glasses of water per day. But how much water do you really need to drink each day? It's a simple question with no easy answer. Studies have produced varying recommendations over the years, but your individual water needs depend on many factors, including your health, how active you are, and where you live. No single formula fits everyone. But knowing more about your body's need for fluids will help you estimate how much water to drink each day. So, how much fluid does the average healthy adult living in a temperate climate need? Well, the US National Academies of Sciences, Engineering, and Medicine determined that an adequate daily fluid intake is about 15 and a half cups or 3.7 liters of fluid for a man, and about 11 and a half cups or 2.7 liters of fluid for a woman. These recommendations cover fluids from water, other beverages, and food. About 20% of daily fluid intake usually comes from food and the rest from drinks. You've probably heard the advice to drink 8 glasses of water a day. That's easy to remember, and it is a reasonable goal. Most healthy people can stay hydrated by drinking water and other fluids whenever they feel thirsty. For some people, fewer than 8 glasses a day might be enough, but other people might need more. You might need to modify your total fluid intake based on several factors. One would be exercise. If you do any activity that makes you sweat, you need to drink extra water to cover the fluid loss. It's important to drink water before, during, and after a workout. Don't wait till you're thirsty. And then there's your environment. Hot or humid weather can make you sweat and requires additional fluid. Dehydration also can occur at high altitudes. Then there's a matter of your overall health. Your body loses fluids when you have a fever, vomiting, or diarrhea. So drink more water when you're not feeling well. Other conditions that might require increased fluid intake include bladder infections and urinary tract stones. Pregnancy and breastfeeding, if you're pregnant or breastfeeding, you may need additional fluids to stay hydrated. A useful tool to help you make better choices about your fluid intake, the American Society for Clinical Nutritional Beverage Guidance Council created a picture of fluids to illustrate at a glance how much of each fluid is considered best for optimal health. I'll provide you later with a link to the Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health website that covers this. Is water the only option? The short answer, no. Food also provides water that contributes to your daily intake of water. Many fruits and vegetables, such as melons and green leafy veggies, are almost 100% water by weight. Beverages like milk, juice, and herbal teas are composed mostly of water. Even caffeinated drinks such as coffee and soda can add to your daily water intake, but go easy on sugar-sweetened drinks. Matter of fact, eliminate them if you can. Regular soda, energy or sports drinks, and other sweet drinks usually contain a lot of added sugar. Drinking plain water, of course, can't be beat. It's readily available and has 0 calories. It is the fluid of choice. Here's a chart that I found very useful in assessing where my daily water intake is coming from. Just wanted to let you see this chart for a little bit. I must say that I'm not always thrilled about these types of government agency charts due to the fact that so often they do not take into account the quality of the foods. Okay, so you might notice that in the chart. Often, as with this chart, you'll see certain foods that are not the healthiest choices. That said, the point here is clear. Water is not our only access to hydration on a daily basis. And now for my 3 takeaways. Number 1 takeaway is water is the most important fluid for the human body. Water is the medium that carries toxins out of your body, lubricates your joints and organs, and regulates your internal temperature. Number two takeaway is that, as with anything else that applies to well-being, is that there is no cookie cutter person and no one size fits all prescription. Hydration needs are highly individual. It is based on a number of factors such as intensity and duration of exercise, environment you're in, such as temperature and humidity and altitude, and your overall health status. That said, you can't go wrong abiding by the guidelines of the US National Academies of Science, Engineering, and Medicine, which is 15.5 cups, 3.7 liters of fluid for a man, and 11.5 cups, or 2.7 liters of fluid for women. One of the best ways to tell whether you're lacking fluids is by the color of your urine. The morning is the best time to get a global sense of your hydration status. If your urine looks more like apple juice instead of lemonade, then you're dehydrated. On the other hand, the need to urinate throughout the day is a sign that you're well hydrated. To prevent dehydration and make sure your body has the fluids it needs, make water your beverage of choice. It's a good idea to drink a glass of water with each meal and between meals, before, during, and after exercise, and when and if you feel thirsty. Chia seeds combat dehydration. Did you know that? Well, because chia seeds absorb 30 times their weight in water, they help regulate body fluid levels and retain electrolytes, both key in the battle against dehydration. For workouts in heat and humidity, chia seeds are a handy way to prolong hydration. Here's a fantastic way to have them. I call it the Chia Fresca recipe. It's 1 cup of water, 1 tablespoon chia seeds, 2 tablespoons fresh lemon or lime juice, 2 teaspoons of honey. Whisk the seeds into the water and allow them to soak for 10 to 15 minutes. Stir in the lemon or lime juice and honey and whisk. Enjoy. So on that note, I hope you really enjoyed this talk, and that you got a lot out of it, and that it will contribute to your ongoing well-being. And until next time, thank you so much for joining me, and stay well.